Alright, UFC 291 Fight Week is finally here. This is one of the best pay-per-views that we've had since, I believe, that Adesanya Pereira card. And wow, this is a stacked card. I'm going to be making so many predictions. Eventually, I'm going to be doing a video predicting a bunch of the fights on this card. But for this one, I want to talk about the main event and what do I think is going to happen. And honestly, guys, normally I do these videos and I say, hey, let me break down how both guys can win and go into it. And then at the end, I reveal who I think is going to win. But this one, I'm going to do a little bit differently, guys. I'm going with Justin Gaethje. And honestly, I do not see Dustin Poirier winning this fight. Now, I know this might be some bad timing because yesterday I did release a video talking shit about Dustin Poirier, saying I thought he was a fake nice guy. If you guys want to see that video, I'll put it on the screen. But I want to say this, I actually like Dustin Poirier more than Justin Gaethje, and I actually like Dustin Poirier. Like, that's something that you guys might misconceive. Just because I don't think he's a nice guy doesn't mean that I don't like him. I like Dustin Poirier. I like watching him fight. If everybody liked the good guy, everybody would have Captain America as their favorite Avenger. But real men, you know, we like the Iron Mans, we like the Hulks, you know, we like these guys that are a bit menacing. And yeah, I actually don't like Justin Gaethje more than I dislike Dustin Poirier, because I actually like Poirier, and to a certain extent, I guess I like Gaethje. He's kind of grown on me recently, but for a while, at one point, he was in my bad graces. Now he's kind of back in my decent graces. So I actually think this fight is super unfair for Dustin Poirier, and I think it's really just rigged against him now. I'm not trying to say I think the UFC wants him to lose, because I think Dustin was probably the bigger star than Justin Gaethje, maybe just by a little bit because of those Conor McGregor fights. But this fight makes no sense, and obviously, I know a lot of people are going to be talking about the altitude, and that is what I'm really referring to. Like, Dustin Poirier himself said he's going there about 2 weeks before the fight. How are people not learning this? Like, how are people not knowing, like, hey, we need to get there earlier? But it is a bit of a tricky situation, because as much as we could say, hey, can people get there earlier? We don't know, because you also got to pay coaches to go there. You got to still train. So unless you're picking a new training camp, especially for someone like Dustin Poirier, who trains at American Top Team, who has so many fighters, it's not really easy to say, hey, coaches, come with me, because they're focused on everybody at the gym. So in all fairness to Dustin, it might not be completely his fault, but the fact that this is in altitude at Salt Lake City, we saw what happened with Leon and Kamaru. Obviously, Leon did terrible in that second fight. And then when they fought in England at sea level, Leon did a lot better. And we saw, you know, obviously Usman also trains with Justin Gaethje, so I think that'll give us a bit of an indicator to say, hey, Justin Gaethje isn't going to get easily tired in this fight. And I just think that Dustin Poirier is, and I just think it's a tough one. But guys, before I go into my full breakdown talking about some other factors that you guys probably didn't even realize, just to remind you guys, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, because we're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. And yeah, make sure to check out some of my other videos, because this week we're all focusing on UFC 291. We're going full out here. And yes, I also am a bit sick, sadly. Like, I've been sick. Like, I started this channel less than a year ago, and I probably have been sick like 15 times. But anyways, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, obviously taking place this weekend. This is for the BMF title. Obviously, last held by Jorge Masvidal. I fought Nate Diaz for it. And yeah, with Jorge Masvidal retiring and them needing, you know, some sort of belt to headline this pay-per-view, they just kind of made the title again and gave it to Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. Now, I don't get why Charles Oliveira isn't in discussion for the BMF title. Like, he's beaten both guys. He's a guy that goes forward, gets finishes. Like, this is a BMF, like, more than them. But regardless, whatever, I understand that they just made this just for the pay-per-view sake. And this is a big fight for lightweight, because right now lightweight is starting to get a little bit jammed up. Oliveira is obviously fighting Makhachev next, but then after that, who fights next? Is it going to be the winner of this fight? Is it going to be Volkanovski? Are we going to have some sort of interim title maybe? A Volk versus the winner of this fight interim title would be absolutely crazy, but regardless, we're looking to ahead, because yeah, this fight has a lot of implications as well. You know, Conor McGregor is coming back, and I could see Conor McGregor fighting for this title, even hinted himself saying, hey, he wants to fight for the BMF title, the winner of this fight. So I think there's a lot on the line for this fight without this whole BMF thing, because there is so many implications with this fight, and it's tough to hear, because, you know, the first fight was an amazing fight. You know, Dustin Poirier won the fight by 4th round TKO. It was really close though, because Justin Gaethje landed a lot of leg kicks, really destroying the legs of Dustin Poirier, and Poirier landing a lot of shots of his own. But the person that fought Dustin Poirier way back then is not the same Justin Gaethje. This isn't the same guy at all. We saw with the Rafael Fiziev fight, fought very smart and even went for the takedown a little bit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Justin Gaethje mixes in some takedowns here, especially early on, because, you know, like I said, I think Dustin Poirier is gonna have a massive disadvantage with this whole altitude thing. Like, I'm surprised the odds are so close, because honestly, I think Justin should be a huge favorite just purely because of the altitude. Without it, honestly, yeah, it's a toss-up fight, but with the altitude mixed in and the fact that Justin Gaethje was doing pretty decent in their last fight, like, Justin Gaethje back then would just go forward, you know, would get hit a lot by Eddie Alvarez, by Dustin Poirier, but since then, you know, he's been a very jab type fighter, leg kick, very patient, like we saw in the Tony Ferguson fight, or in the most impressively, the Rafael Fiziev fight, because that was a really really good fight too. Or the Michael Chandler fight, he was extremely patient in that fight despite Michael Chandler trying to make it a brawl. And yeah, in times Justin Gaethje did make it a brawl too, but and yeah, just, you know, to me, I think I see Justin Gaethje using that jab, using the movement, and really putting it on Dustin Poirier. And I think this fight will probably end third round TKO by Justin Gaethje. I see the first round being a pretty competitive, fun round. Then the second round, you see Dustin slow down significantly. The leg kicks are being significant. Dustin's landing his shots, landing some jabs, and Dustin's toughing it out. Then early to mid in the third round, I think we're going to see Dustin Poirier get knocked down, get hurt, get finished on the ground. And yeah, I think Justin Gaethje just can't make this a brawl. If he makes it a brawl, he risks getting caught, and especially with the damage he's taken since that fight. I mean, that fight was what, like 5 years ago? So he's taken a lot of damage. He went through the war with Michael Chandler. He got knocked down by Oliveira. He got beaten by Khabib. Taken a lot of damage here and there. Even got knocked down by Tony Ferguson, right? So definitely suffered a few concussions along the way. And I think if we're talking about who's received the least amount of damage since then, I'd probably go with Dustin Poirier. So to me, I think Dustin Poirier is very similar to how he fought him the last time. He has gotten a little bit better with his boxing though. And I think maybe the confidence maybe could be a little bit up now that he's a bigger star. And yeah, I think if I'm Dustin Poirier, you know, I think he should have just tried to get there earlier. But let's just assume his cardio is on point. How would this fight go? I'd probably still favor Justin Gaethje, even if the altitude was normal. But I think if Dustin wants to win this fight, I think he's gonna have to put Justin Gaethje on that back foot, because we see when Justin Gaethje's on the back foot, like the fight with Michael Chandler, he kind of panics a little bit. You know, his guard becomes a little bit less defensive. Like he's just accepting punches, and you know, you gotta kind of draw him into a brawl to catch him. And I think that's where you gotta do it. And Dustin Poirier in the pocket is better than anybody. That's why I say he's one of the best boxers in the UFC, if not the best boxer in the UFC, because him in the pocket is incredible. We saw with Conor McGregor, a guy like Conor McGregor who has one of the best instinctual counters ever in the UFC. We saw him counter Conor McGregor, a guy who countered a pro boxer like Floyd Mayweather. So I still think that Dustin Poirier is the best boxer in the UFC. I know a lot of you guys disagree, but he beat Max Holloway, beat Conor McGregor. I don't really know who else you're going to make a case for, but still, he is very much a boxer. I think those leg kicks are going to absolutely destroy his leg, and I just think that Justin Gaethje, as of right now, is just a better fighter mixed with the altitude. I'm going to go with Justin Gaethje. I know it sounds crazy. I thought I was going to go with Dustin Poirier until I realized months ago, hey, this fight's at altitude, and Justin Gaethje literally trains with Usman, trains at altitude already. So yeah, it's tough, but I'm going to make some videos about some other fights. I'm really excited for the Alex Pereira Jan Blachowicz fight. Probably tomorrow I'm going to be making an Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz video, and then maybe on Friday I'll make a video about the whole card and what do I think is going to happen. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys want to see? And yeah, guys, you guys are the best fan base MMA. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are literally so amazing. And I just think that, like I said, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, it's a fun fight, it's a fun war, and it's going to be a banger fight, at least in that first round. But I just think, man, if this fight was just somewhere else, it would be a lot better. But it happens. Someone's got to fight in Utah City. I just don't get how fighters still think 2 weeks is enough. Leon Edwards came 2 weeks earlier and was in, you know, one of those altitude tents. And if you're a Dustin Poirier fan, I mean, to be fair, you know, Dustin has said that he's been trying to sleep in altitude in a little tent, so maybe that could help him. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Like I said, comment your predictions in the comment section below, because I actually do want to hear it and I want to reply and all of that. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.